back here at the Soul Tree. Today's Timeless Tarot is extra special to me because it is based on the movement of Pluto into Aquarius. For the last however long, since 2008, we have had Pluto in Capricorn, and we have all felt incredible shifts and transformations around our structures, around money, around our stability and resources. And on January 20th, which is 2 days from the date that I'm recording this, Pluto will be moving into the sign of Aquarius, and it will remain there and through all the other signs for the next 248 years. So we will never experience Pluto in Capricorn for the extended length of time that we have ever again in our lives. So I'm going to be reading for how we can all be collectively in most harmonious alignment with technology as we move forward into the rest of the future. The sign of Aquarius is the sign that is humanitarian. They're the sign that is concerned with collective wellness and innovating the systems and the tools and the ideas that we already have to make them, bring them up to speed, make them more current, make them more inclusive so that everyone can have a say, and so that everyone can be involved in whatever future that we're collectively building together. So I hope that this reading brings you some guidance, some clarity, perhaps answers some questions that you may have, and absolutely harmonizes and balances some of those fears and unknowns, some of the solve for X's that we may have regarding technology and the future. If you were born in the 90s, you are part of the first generation to ever have technology kind of really integrated into your everyday life. So we have absolutely seen the world change more than we ever probably imagined. So just imagine how the generations before us feel about the current world that we're in. So I'm going to pull some cards for each of the modalities. So for fixed signs, for mutable signs, and for cardinal signs. What is the energy that we can tap into to help us be in most harmonious alignment with our use, consumption, and production of technology? And then I will also pull a challenge that we're having, and then an opportunity that we each have based on our modalities. So listen to your sun, moon, and rising, whether your sun is a fixed sign, a mutable sign, or a cardinal sign, and I'll definitely go ahead and clarify what those are as well. But the fixed signs include the signs Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. The mutable signs include the signs Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Virgo. And then the cardinal signs are Libra, Aries, Capricorn, and Cancer. So these are the signs that I'll be reading for. This is Timeless Tarot once again, so when you find the video, that's when it's meant for you. There is a message here that may spark your interest, may spark your motivation, your confidence, may encourage you to take action on that idea that you may have been sitting on for a while. And with Pluto and Aquarius, there's no time like the present. Aquarius is a future thinking sign, but Aquarius thinks of the future because they want to innovate the present. They're always thinking, how can I make the now, the moment, more efficient, more inclusive, more able to serve others, right? Where Leo is a sign that is focused on the self and focused on authentic expression from the self. Aquarius is a sign that's focused on new ideas, bringing newness and high quality innovation to the things that we already have here. Aquarius is thinking about not getting rid of the systems and structures that are in place, but making them more efficient and more in service to the collective. So the sign of Aquarius is represented by the water bear. If you're an Aquarius, you may be familiar with this symbol of a feminine figure who usually holds some sort of gourd or a bowl that she's pouring water out of. And the reason that Aquarius is an air sign, even though they are someone who deals with water, is because the person, the figure typically depicted as feminine, who's holding the gourd is an air breather. They breathe air, which means that Aquarius is a sign that is concerned with what people are thinking. What are other people thinking? How are people feeling? The water that they're pouring out represents emotions, it represents spirit and creativity. But when Aquarius senses that the people, the collective, are feeling like fear or shame or sadness or isolation, Aquarius, the innovator, uses their air, their mind, their thoughts, their communication skills, Music is also part of air because we hear music through the air waves. But Aquarius uses their innovative thinking skills to bring in the structure and stability of Capricorn, which is the sign just before them, and also the emotional intelligence of Pisces, which is the sign just after them. Aquarius is able to combine that earthy energy with that water energy and bring fresh water and fresh life and fresh air into the collective. The story that I love that I'll tell all the time is about all 12 signs sitting around a campfire, and the Aquarius realizes that not all of these signs have an easy time making their way to the river to get water for drinking and bathing and healing, right? The water signs can't always flock over to the pond and get the water. So the Aquarius uses their knowledge of how collective is feeling and what collective is thinking, and they create the gourd that gets the water from the river or the pond and brings it back to the collective. So I just want to give lots of gratitude to Aquarius energy. If you have Aquarius in your birth chart, doesn't necessarily need to be just your sun, moon, and rising, but anywhere it falls, especially if you're someone like me who has Saturn in Aquarius, we may have a little bit of restriction or difficulty when it comes to those innovative ideas and jumping on board sometimes with like being comfortable with collective groups and community. Sometimes we can feel a little bit ostracized because Aquarius is the person who thinks, Aquarius is the sign that thinks outside the box. It's not always easy to fit in with groups, right? But groups are always so grateful for having that Aquarian energy because Aquarius is the trendsetter. Aquarius informs us of what's new, what's coming. Aquarius always a little bit ahead of the curve. To begin, I've pulled an emotion card and an affirmation for the collective. So how is collective mostly feeling about technology at this time? And I got the 5 of Spades, which says fear. So the number 5 is a number of challenge, and we typically meet challenge after we have achieved stability in some area of our lives. And the 5 is just like one more thing that kind of steps on our stability. If you think about an animal with 4 legs, it's able to really like ground itself on those 4. But if it randomly grows a 5th leg, it's like, I don't even know how to really position myself, right? But sometimes when we deal with challenges, especially after we've achieved a certain level of stability that we've been working toward, it can invoke this emotion of fear. And I believe that the reason that I pulled this for how is collective feeling regarding technology is we have lived our entire lives, many of us, in this environment socially where technology started off very small, but we've seen it mushroom over the course of our lives, right? And we don't really know where it's going. So fear is always comes up because of the unknown. We don't really know what to expect in the future. We don't know what's going to come of technology, of artificial intelligence, of, the various ways that tech could be integrated into our lives. We don't know what's going to come of that. However, there's not really anything to fear just because we don't know. It could be so much better than we expect, especially if we approach technology and artificial intelligence and all of the other children of tech with intentionality, if we approach it with purpose, if we use technology to improve ourselves, we naturally will improve our environments and the people and things around us. But it definitely is giving that society is feeling fearful about technology. But the affirmation that we have as collective here is, if I want to feel supported, I must support myself. So I think the reason that this affirmation came out for collective as the way that we can be in most harmonious alignment with technology as we move toward the future is the way that we decide to engage with technology is really on us. It's up to us. We are the creators of this new, I don't even want to call it a life force, but we're the creators of this new resource, right? And so the resource can only give us what we put into it. if we create things with technology from a place of fear, right, then the resource itself is going to be rooted in fear. But if we create and use technology to support ourselves, to support each other, to give us answers to questions that can really solve lots of the issues that we're facing in our current political, social, personal, familial, romantic environments and settings. If we use technology to educate ourselves and to bring more inclusivity, to bring more love, to bring more understanding to our collective social groups, that is one way that we're supporting ourselves while we use this creation of ourselves. But if we approach it with any emotions that stem from fear, like anger, like resentment, like greed, if we use technology with emotions that are related to fear, then we're not supporting ourselves, we're not supporting each other. So that's the collective reading. Moving forward, I'm going to begin with fixed signs, and then I'll read for mutable signs, and then I will close out with cardinal signs. So feel free to go into the description box, click on the timestamp that relates to the signs you'd like to listen for, or listen to the entire reading, because we are all conglomerate beings of every single sign, so we can relate to something from every sign. I always like to believe that if you observe something long enough, you'll find a reflection of yourself within it. So I will see you in the readings. All right, so fixed signs: Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Taurus. If you relate to one of those signs, this reading is for you. We're gonna start off with the overall energy. How are you feeling toward technology? And you got the 9 of Spades, which says shy. So the word shy is here. And so it seems like fixed signs, you're not afraid of technology per se, but it's giving a little bit of hesitation, like you're not really sure what to expect from it. You don't really know if it's going to be chaotic, or it's kind of like I'm getting that fixed signs don't really know what to think about the future of technology. Perhaps you're one of those people that you've seen like the really flashy, clickbaity headlines about technology, and you're not really sure what's real, what's true, what's not. You may be one of those people who is just like turned off by or put off by the social jabber about technology. Like perhaps you can really sniff out fear mongering when you see it, which is phenomenal for you. But you can also tell that technology isn't going to be such a, I don't want to say smooth. Yeah, I think you can tell that the future of technology won't be as smooth a ride as it's been in the past, because there just is so much unknown. But I don't think that you're afraid of the unknown. I think you're just hesitant toward it. The word shy makes me think of like, I want to engage, like I'm curious, I'm interested, but I don't really know what I might lose in the process, or what I might be asked to sacrifice in the process. So that is the challenge. I think just the shyness and the hesitation toward technology would be the challenge for fixed signs. So let's see what's the energy for fixed signs in terms of how to be in most harmonious alignment with technology as it evolves and as it shifts over time. And I have the oracle card for you, Strength. This card says, my strength shines through today. So as you can see on this card, we have a person who is balancing some cosmic elements on their head, and it looks like she's holding a star. I always assign feminine energy to these oracle cards. This is the Daily Rituals Oracle if you're interested in getting your own deck. But it looks like this person is holding a star in their hand while they balance the sun, the moon, and a star on their head, right? So the star is at the very top of the card, and then the other star is in their opposite hand. So what I get from this card is it takes a lot of balance, strength, and courage to summit mountains, to summit challenges, to face challenges, right? To face our shyness, to face our hesitation toward challenges, it does take a lot of balance. And it takes a lot of courage to know that you have the ability even to hold the sun. Like the fact that this person is holding the sun on their head and on their hands, it makes me think of like illumination. It makes me think of divine knowing and knowledge, that not only can I hold the sun, not only am I worthy of knowing this light, but I'm also able and strong enough to hold the moon, which is my intuition and my emotions, and the star, which is everything it takes for me to heal and shine, on my head. The head is such an important symbol on this card to me, because strength, we think of strength. When I think of strength, I think of not just physical strength and ability, like physical ability, but I think of courage. Courage comes from the heart, and the heart represents Leo, which is also the sun astronomically. So with the sun or your heart on your head, it's almost like making me think of like mind over matter. Like if you feel shy, or if you feel weak, or if you feel hesitant toward the future, or a obstacle that you can see incoming, it makes me think that this obstacle is only coming to let you see the power that lies within you. I also can't ignore the fact that there is a dark-skinned character on this card. I rarely see dark-skinned images or characters in tarot decks unless I buy specific decks that feature Black and brown people. But strength being depicted through a dark-skinned feminine energy, to me, really also represents, like, you have to know that the beauty and the possibility lies within you. No one's going to tell you fixed signs, Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio. No one's going to tell you that you have the power to create shifts, to create impact. It's kind of like you have to be strong enough to know it, and don't look for that affirmation or approval on the outside. The card says my strength shines through today, but I do want to read just from the Oracle booklet to give a more round understanding of what this Oracle card may be trying to communicate. And the Strength card says, strength has many meanings and takes many shapes. You may have picked this card as you move through a particularly trying time. Know that you are strong and capable, and the universe is supporting you. Self-care in all its forms is encouraged at this time. So for a strength ritual, reward yourself for the strength you have shown as you move through the darker parts of life. Take time to connect to the softer sides of yourself and refill your own cup. Laugh, cry, move, meditate, be vulnerable, and know that this too is strength. So one of the things that I realized as I was reading that from the Oracle book was these cosmic elements that this person is holding, it's not like they're light. Like, yes, they're made of light, but it's not like they're easy to carry, right? Like the sun is huge, but look at the size of them compared to this person's body. It's almost like the person themselves, either the sun and the moon and the stars all shrunk down to human size, or the person found strength and courage in themselves enough to become the size of the sun, the moon, and the stars. And if you're someone who is familiar with biblical stories, you may remember the story of Moses on Mount Sinai. Moses went up to Mount Sinai to commune with God, according to the biblical tale. And while he thought he was gone for about 3 days, or 15 minutes, it actually turned out that it was 3 days. And when he came down from the mountain to see his community, which is such an Aquarian concept in itself, he was glowing. And so it's almost like this person is able to hold the sun, the moon, and the stars because they themselves have seen that the light is within them. And for that reason, they can be in communion with the cosmos. So I really hope that that makes sense. And I hope that as you proceed into the future, your self-care practices, routines, and rituals also allow you to really embody the God light that's within you. And when I say godlike, I'm really talking about like the breath of God that sparked your life. It's always inside of you. And one way, especially an air sign / Aquarian related way to embody that, is to simply tap into your breath. Take a long inhale and take a long exhale out. And you can just imagine that God's light, or the universe's, nature's light, spirit's light. Whenever I say God, I'm also talking about nature, spirit, universe, whatever that benevolent force that allows things to grow from the earth with simple rainwater. That is the energy that I'm talking about. So just remember that that is a great way. That too is a way to practice and maintain your personal strength so that you can continue showing up for yourself and showing up for community as well. Finally, I have 3 cards for opportunity for the fixed signs. So for the fixed signs, the opportunity is the 2 of Cups, the Magician, and the fire element. So I'm getting off of this card that it's possible for fixed signs to really speak into existence the kind of connection that they want to have with technology. If you would like to have a relationship with technology where technology comes into your life, or the innovations of technology simply make your life easier, then you can speak that into existence with your air, using airwaves like Aquarius, and you can literally attract that kind of relationship to you. And the reason that I say that is because of this 2 of Cups here. The 2 of Cups typically talks about a soulmate connection, or a romantic connection that is possible because 2 things that may not be completely alike are so alike within that they attract each other, right? So perhaps you're someone who loves wearing stripes, and the person that you are trying to attract is someone who loves wearing polka dots. You may not look similar on the outside, but because you're both wanting that same relationship with each other, your hearts attract each other. It doesn't matter what the physical looks like, it matters what's within. And the Magician is someone who knows how to use their tools and simply has to reach up into the heavens, like allow themselves to know that asking for help is also part of the birthright of being alive. Reach up into the heavens and point down to the earth, and they serve as a channel for whatever they want, for whatever their heart desires and whatever their heart is attracting, to literally be put into their hand and flow through them down into the earth. The Magician card makes me think of, if you see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And then you close out with the fire element. Fire is an element that is very fast. Fire is transformative. Fire, when you put fire to something, it's no longer ever the same way it was. Now suddenly it's a different form. And it makes me think that you're manifesting extremely quickly based on how you feel. So if you're feeling shy about technology, then perhaps you're attracting a relationship with technology where like things only kind of work, or it's like there's slow results. You kind of get what you want, but not all the way. So it's kind of like warm up your heart. Allow this fire element to like warm up your heart space to the possibilities that you are able to manifest with technology. And when I say technology, I'm also talking about how you connect with your communities. So many of us use social media to stay connected and in communication with our social groups that we're not always physically near. But think about how we can change that. Like, are there different ways that you personally want to manifest so that you can connect more with more substance to your social groups and your community? Or are there ways that things about technology and social media that you really don't like, that you just wish were different? Are there things like, do you just get tired of seeing people posting about war all the time and not really having a tangible way to enact change or impact in a positive way? This is the time that we can say, you know what, in 5 years from now, I'll be able to get on my phone and vote with social media, and a war can stop just like that if there's enough votes. Or perhaps in 3 years, I'll be able to serve my community food. The members of my community who aren't able to get food to them, I'll be able to just quickly send them food just with my thoughts even, right? I'll be able to think about what I have and it'll appear. I think that fixed signs are very powerful at this time with manifesting what they really want to connect with, but it does start in the heart space. So yeah, remember, if I want to feel supported, I must support myself. So how can you, fixed signs, support yourself by feeling the emotions that you wish for technology to bring to you in the future and manifesting those through the ways that you support yourself on a daily basis, through your daily habits and rituals? How can you tap into your inner strength and allow that to quiet the shyness, quiet the hesitation, and really make you feel empowered to use technology in the ways that support you and also support your collective community? So, fixed signs, I wish you the absolute best as we move into Pluto and Aquarius. I hope that you're able to manifest everything that you want to the best of your ability and even better than you can imagine. And thank you again for joining me at the Soul Tree. I will see you next time. What's up, mutable signs, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Gemini? Welcome back to the Soul Tree. Thank you for joining me here. I'm very much excited to read for Pluto and Aquarius. Again, this is Timeless Tarot, and Pluto will never be in Capricorn again for the same extended time. I've already explained this. But mutable signs are our signs who help us transition. Mutable signs are the signs that occur right in the middle of seasons. So we can think of mutable energy. We can think of mutable energy as that energy that supports us in having easeful and in accepting change. So we're going to start off with the overall energy. How are the mutable signs feeling about technology, shifts in our collective social groups, in our social ways of thinking collectively? How are mutable signs feeling at this time? And this card says rage. So this is the King of Clubs, and the card says rage. This is just from a deck of playing cards that I actually got at Five Below, and each card has a different emotion. I believe that rage is an emotion that comes or is a byproduct of anger or resentment, and it could be the mutable signs could be feeling rage, perhaps due to the way that technology has grown over time. If you're someone like me who has Saturn in Aquarius, if you were born in the 80s and 90s, it's really interesting how our lives have been influenced by it, both in positive ways and in negative ways. And based on this rage card, I'm getting that the mutable signs are not necessarily pleased with the ways that technology is influencing our day-to-day lives. And perhaps it's not that you have that you're upset about technology. Like, there are absolutely undeniable ways that technology has supported our lifestyles. But it's also undeniable, where's my water? It's also undeniable that technology has its ways of making life harder as well. So, rage is the overall energy that mutable signs are feeling about Pluto and Aquarius, and just shifts in our overall collective community groups, circles, technology, and the ways that we communicate in groups. But let's go ahead and see what oracle cards came out for how we can be in best alignment with technology and Pluto and Aquarius as we move into the future. So you got two oracle cards. The first one is Power. Today I step into my power. And the second one says Goddess. I awaken the flow of goddess energy within me. I'll go ahead and show you these as well. If you notice, both characters on both cards seem to have some sort of a halo or veil on their heads. So each of these characters having these things on their heads makes me think that the mutable signs the mutable signs have some sort of awareness or spiritual connection that the other modalities may not have as much. And if you notice, both of the crowns on their heads are kind of radiating toward the sky. So like I said, the mutable signs are more comfortable with change than the other modalities, but there's also a sense of control there. There's a sense of, if you are comfortable with change, if you embrace change, if you go with the flow, you're also able to change up the flow, or you have a little bit more like self-control as change occurs. Like, it's not so destabilizing because you're able to move with the flow. And when I think of power and when I think of goddess energy, a powerful goddess is one who can roll with the tides. Like, because she's flexible, because she's mutable, right? She's able to not experience the same like inner turmoil when change is happening. And mutable signs, the phrase that's coming to me is, whatever happens to me happens for me. Nothing really happens to me, everything happens for me because I'm in flow. I'm going to go ahead and read from the Daily Rituals Oracle book. Go ahead and screenshot this or take a look if you're interested in getting your own deck. I love this deck. So many powerful feminine energies on these cards. And I'll go ahead and read for power and for goddess. So for best alignment with technology and Pluto and Aquarian energy as we move into the future, the power card says, this card serves as a reminder that you are powerful and able to make big changes in your life. Ask yourself where you feel the most powerful. It's time to stop playing small and step into your power, so be bold and take action. What I'll say immediately, the message that's coming through from mutable signs is, you have an idea, mutable signs. You have a way that you connect with others, that you use technology to have to affect positive impact and change in your community. So stop sitting on that idea, like, get to it, babe, it's time. There's something within you as the change maker, as the guide through transition, that the collective needs, and it's your job to shine that light out onto others. And really what's coming out, what's coming through to me is these clouds on this goddess card. How the goddess, they're only halfway up her body. It makes me think of the Queen of Swords tarot card as well. But she's risen above clouds of, self-judgment, clouds of fear, clouds of like not really having hope in herself. And she can finally see clearly because she's allowed herself to accept the gift that is hers, which is indicated by the way she's holding that crown on her head. So it's kind of like, it's time for you to embrace your power. And like I said, I just read for the power card. So let's go ahead and read for the goddess card. So to be in best alignment, the energy of the goddess is intrinsically linked to the intuition, flow, nature, creation, mysticism, and all matters of love and relationships. Meditation, self-discovery, and cutting energetic cords are encouraged when you draw this card. So I'm thinking, what are the energetic cords that, let me use different terminology. What are the experiences that you've had with technology that have invoked rage within you? Because rage was that first emotion card that we pulled. What are the energetic cords or connections or memories that you have with technology that keep you anchored to that experience, that past? The past is one thing that, like, when you think of it, it brings you right back to that moment. But when you just review, instead of like ruminating, instead of burying yourself in that moment, when you accept the experience that you had and move forward into the present and allow yourself to be here now, the past no longer has control over you. It no longer has power over you. So if the idea that I mentioned earlier that you may have been sitting on, that you may have been just like thinking about, if it's related to, if you haven't acted upon it because of a negative past experience related to social groups, related to technology, related to innovation and having ideas that are like so forward thinking that people don't really understand, and perhaps that's been discouraging for you, now's the time to call that power back to you and allow yourself to just be the goddess. Be the outcast, be the person who no one understands, but everyone's just like, wow, like just in awe of the fact that you have this idea in the first place. Whatever you're sitting on, it's needed, and nobody knows how to do it except for you, okay? I love to think about humans and just living things as the universe experiencing itself. The universe can only experience ikaari if ikaari does ikaari shit, okay? If I were to sit here and not share my voice and just like hole up in a cubicle or in a room, not allowing my inner light to shine, the universe would never get to experience itself through me. The universe is experiencing itself through each of us individually. We're all unique. No two of us are the same. So it's up to you to find the courage, the power, and the inner goddess energy to let your light shine, okay? So rage is the challenge, but what's the opportunity? Here we have 3 cards. Wow, I love these cards, mutable signs. Wow. Oh my God. So I pulled from the Tarot of the Orishas deck, and you have Pombagira, who represents like love, attraction, Venusian, Libra energy. You also have the 10 of Fire, or the 10 of Wands. And then I'm gonna have to cover this card up, but you also have La Pareja, excuse me. You also have La Pareja, or the couple. This is also known as the Lover's card in the Rider-Waite Tarot deck. So this reading gives that you are powerfully attracting, you're powerfully attracting what you want at this time. Like you're powerfully attracting a relationship, a connection between yourself and your collective social groups, your community, or the ways that you connect with others through technology. You're at a very powerful time in life where you're kind of able to just like be yourself and receive whatever that result is, whether it's yeah, people are looking at you like they're attracted to you. There's so much like pink and red in these cards here. And so it really gives me the energy of like, you are highly attractive. You may be like physically attractive. You may be appearing extra beautiful. Perhaps the way to be in most harmonious alignment with technology is allow yourself to be seen, get comfortable in front of that lens, in front of that camera. Get comfortable using your voice, get comfortable being charming, being your most gorgeous and like, you know, enticing self. I'm getting like sexy energy. So if you're someone who likes to take, you know, little selfies, little treats, send them to your little boo or whatever, like perhaps that's one way to help to kind of shed the rage that may be associated with technology and social groups. But also, there's something here about someone feeling burdened by technology. Like it's almost like you feel like it's too much work to keep up with technology. Perhaps being on social media feels a little bit superficial. That's like a shadow energy of Venus and Libra energy, is that it can be superficial. Sometimes it's only about appearance and it's not so much about what's within. But with this couple card here, you have two folks who are, two folks who are completely naked. Yeah, I hope that me covering this with my fingers is okay for YouTube. But you have two folks here who are completely naked and who really are just enjoying each other's company. They're basking in the fact that they're the only two people who exist in their space. They have everything they need. In the trees, they have coconuts. They have water right behind them. They have the entire universe at their disposal. And they're not so worried about appearance. So they're really not concerned about what they look like. They're most concerned about how they feel. And on the Lover's card in the typical tarot, you see two figures who are standing across from each other with a higher self angel looking above them. And that higher self angel is like the one soul that they're both part of, that allows, like when they tap into their higher self or their most authentic selves, that's when they can finally recognize each other, like, oh, we're the same soul, let's get together. So what I'm getting from mutable signs is the way that you can be in most harmonious alignment with technology is really think about beyond the flash, beyond the superficial, like the outer appearance of social media and technology, and beyond what I think people see me as. What do I identify? How do I identify? And what energy do I want to use to attract my community to me through the use of technology? How do I present myself on social media? How do I perhaps, like, do I need to redo my website because maybe it's not so authentic the way that I really mean for it to be? Maybe the products that I'm selling online, these are not actually resonating with what I personally find to be important and what I personally really love. I think that Pluto in Aquarius and that Pluto moving through all the other signs for the rest of our lives is also going to be a challenge, a test for us to see, you know, do you respect your tools? Do you respect technology? Do you respect yourself enough to align your desires and your goals, your aspirations? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind on earth? And do you respect yourself and the tools that you have at your disposal enough to really make that happen in an authentic way? So to summarize for mutable signs, it's all about tapping into your personal power and allowing yourself to be in harmony with the tools around you so that you're able to really use them in a way that reflects the most authentic and aligned and peaceful and loving parts of you in a way that is so authentic that your community has no choice but to be drawn to you and you to it. All right? I really hope that this reading brought you some clarity. I wish you the absolute best with Pluto in Aquarius and beyond, and I will see you next time here at the Soul Tree. All right, welcome back, my Cardinal sign friends. If you are a Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, or Aries, this reading is for you. I have already pulled your oracle card and your overall energy, and I'm just going to pull one more card that tells us what is your opportunity for being in best harmonious alignment with technology as we move through Pluto and Aquarius and beyond. Thank you very much. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Swords for my cardinal signs. So I will say, starting off with cardinal signs, you have already a little bit of rocky energy here, I will say. And it seems like it's karmic. It seems like you've had experiences with technology and with your social groups, with collective, that have been pretty discouraging over the years. To begin, we have the Oracle card that says braveness. And this card very much resembles the Strength card in the Rider-Waite Tarot, but it says, I am brave. So I'll go ahead and read from the Daily Rituals Oracle book to give us a little bit more insight into the overall energy that will support cardinal signs in being in best harmonious alignment with technology, social groups, and innovation, as we have Pluto in Aquarius and beyond. As I mentioned before, Pluto is going into Aquarius 2 days from the date that I'm recording this video, although this is timeless tarot. And Pluto will never be in Capricorn for the same extended length of time that we've experienced it for the rest of our lives. So the Braveness card says, this powerful card will remind you that you are brave and capable of tackling any challenges in your life. The powerful energy of the lion will help you to overcome any obstacles in your path and know that you are supported by the universe in every situation. It is time to act bravely and conquer your fears. Use braveness as a reminder of the powerful energy you possess. Draw on the wise and proud energy of the lion and tell yourself often that you are brave. So what I'll say is, on first glance at this card, just because it reminds me so much of the Strength card in the Rider-Waite Tarot, it really made me think of the duty that we have to ourselves to help us maintain our inner courage, to always be reminding our ego that it is not in control, but it does have valuable information. So if you think about the feminine energy on this card and the lion as one soul, if you think about them as one soul, you can kind of imagine that sometimes the softer feminine side of us needs to go within and quiet so that our lion can come out and be bold and be fierce so that we can handle certain obstacles and situations. But we don't always need to be that fierce and that bold. Not every obstacle requires the same amount of braveness and fierceness, right? And I think that for cardinal signs, the shift from Pluto in Capricorn, in a very stable, structured, like designated sign, into Aquarius, which is a very expansive, innovative, quickly shifting sign, can feel pretty destabilizing. And I did pull some emotion cards for cardinal signs about how are cardinal signs feeling about technology at this time. And I got rage, sad, and guilt. So these three cards symbolize the energy that cardinal signs are currently feeling about technology, about our social groups, about the ways that we communicate with large groups of people. And I do think that part of the reason that these very negative emotions came to the fore is, technology is unpredictable. We've seen so many changes with technology over the last few decades. Not even few, like more than 5 decades. We've seen so many changes in the last 60, 70 years with how technology starts very small and then it booms in a way that almost feels out of control. And the cardinal signs, you are the signs that you take the thing and you show us how it's done. You are the signs that initiate, you begin each season. But because technology is so unpredictable, there have been many times when we've lost money, we've lost friends, we've lost connections, we've lost even sight of ourselves and understanding of ourselves because of the way that technology is so rapidly evolving. But I do think that the rage, the sadness, and the guilt, whatever those feelings are relevant to in your personal lives, are holding cardinal sign, or might be the challenge that holds cardinal signs back from being in harmonious alignment to be able to use technology in ways that feel supportive and sustainable for us moving forward into the future. Technology and evolution is a fact. It's not something that we can get away from. So what we have to do is find ways that we can integrate it in a balanced way that supports our lifestyles and our livelihoods, and also that builds wealth and legacy that we want to pass down to future generations. I also feel that cardinal signs may feel guilt. It's interesting that the guilt card comes out because perhaps cardinal signs, perhaps the wish for, perhaps cardinal signs are just more aware than the other signs of how technology has really contributed to our human desire for like speed and instant gratification and turned us more into like consumers rather than just naturally occurring beings. And I think that the guilt is something that really weighs heavily on cardinal signs because we know that we are also responsible for the ways that technology has evolved in ways that have been irresponsible for humankind, right? And for the environment in general. Because humans are not the only beings that matter on Earth, but we are the makers of technology. We are the creators of this new beast that we have to be brave with when we interact with it. So I think that the message here for cardinal signs is, are you brave enough? Can you give your ego love enough to forgive yourself for the guilt that you may feel related to the ways that you've personally engaged with technology, related to the ways that you've personally used technology in ways that have been destructive, if we're being honest. And we all have. And obviously, many of us do not do this because we want to contribute to genocide, but it does take a little bit of selling your soul to remain current and remain present. But does it, right? Like, does it actually take that? What are the things that we're willing? This feminine energy on this braveness card, she's holding a sword. What are the things that we are willing to sacrifice with that sword? What are we willing to cut out so that we do not contribute to the destruction that technology can sometimes bring? What are the things that we feel guilty for that we can actually change and forgive ourselves for? Even if these are things that we didn't do knowingly or necessarily like even willingly. Sometimes many of us got phone, like I got a phone in high school because I needed to have a way to communicate with my mom because I'm part of the school shootings generation, unfortunately. And so it's very interesting. I do believe that there's something that here about cardinal signs just benefiting from a little bit of self-reflection and self-forgiveness as well. So the opportunity for being in harmonious alignment with technology and with our social groups as we move forward into the future is the Four of Swords and the Justice card. So on the Four of Swords in the Tarot of the Orishas, it's very interesting. There are four birds here kind of attacking a man who seems to be lying on the ground. And this card to me represents the air, which is represented by technology, and us, and perhaps feeling like inundated with so much information, which, you know, we're all at information overload and we have been for most of our lives. But where are we willing to take back the power of our minds? Where are we willing to find mental focus, even when there's all this other stuff going on? How can we as cardinal signs, when I say we, I'm talking in first person, yes, but I'm discussing cardinal signs in particular. So Libra, Aries, Capricorn, and Cancer, where are you able to, what supports you in refocusing your mind when there's so much going on? Is that turning your phone off while you sleep? Is it giving yourself time limits on how much screen time you have per day? Many parents enact this, but as adults, we can kind of do whatever we want, ice cream for breakfast. But think about what limitations you might want to put on for yourself so that you can maintain your mental balance and peace, right? I believe that doing this, reclaiming your mental energy specifically, my little cat friend. I believe that focusing your mental energy on things beyond just social media and just like doom scrolling and just keeping up to date with like the latest headline, allowing your mind to focus will allow you to give yourself a second life. It's almost like you're allowing that old like busy-brained cardinal sign to rest, and you're bringing the more balanced, present, and peaceful mind into the now. And in that way, you're giving yourself, there's a cat friend here. So I wonder if there's any cats or like really flexible, thoughtful friends that you have that you might be able to lean on. And this is just like a neighborhood cat friend. But think about how you might reclaim your own power and use flexibility with technology to support bringing a second life into the way that you use technology. Like renew your lease on life by putting limits and incorporating rest into your use of technology. I really hope that makes sense, cardinal signs. So to summarize for you all, I do think that it's going to take some bravery. It's going to take some self-forgiveness, and it's going to take some solitude and reflective time to really allow you to recenter and find meaning, find new meaning in the way that you use technology so that the future can be more sustainable, so that it can be more supportive of health, both inside and out, and more supportive of mental peace. If we continue going with technology the way that we have, we will not survive and technology will outlast us. And who knows, like maybe that is the story, right? Like humankind doesn't stop evolving with us. We continue to evolve over time. That's just how nature works. So I can definitely see that it's going to take a little bit more work for the cardinal signs as Pluto moves into Aquarius, but always remember that you have the power of your attention. Just because your phone pings doesn't mean that your attention immediately goes to that object. You get to choose where your attention goes, and wherever your attention goes, that is where energy will flow. All right? So I hope that this reading brought you some clarity, and I wish you the absolute best as Pluto moves into Aquarius and beyond. I will see you here again next time at the Soul Tree.